Rodney Lay is a rock and roll, rockabilly, western swing, and country band leader, bassist, and songwriter. Rodney was born February 13, 1940 in Coffeyville, Kansas, to parents Bill Lay and Maureen Lay, who were both Oklahomans. His great-grandparents came to Indian Territory in a covered wagon, and their home was filled with music because great-grandmother played fiddle and taught all her kids to play. Both his grandfather and father were part-time musicians, with his dad playing at square dances. Rodney played from an early age and debuted publicly at his school at age 9. He and his sister Sue formed a double act performing at talent shows. When he was 15, Rodney joined Tommy Joe Ryan and the Country Rhythm Boys, getting $0 a night. In 1957, he formed his own band, Rodney Lay and the Offbeats, which by 1960 had become the rock and roll band The Blazers. Lay then took the band to Kansas City, where the group recorded Teenage Cinderella for their own campus label, making a profit of 35 cents per record. A copy of the disc was purchased by Johnny Tillotson's manager for his young singing star. However, as fate would have it, the record was heard by an executive with Dory Records in Hollywood, and the disc was picked up and released under the banner of Rodney and the Blazers. The group had one hit, Teenage Cinderella, that received national airplay and made it onto American Bandstand.
You're just a teenage Cinderella.
Rodney and the Blazers toured regionally and became especially popular in Tulsa via connection to KAKC radio. The band played regular KAKC events, which is where many young Tulsa musicians such as Leon Russell, David Gates, J.J. Cale, David Teagarden, and Junior Markham would all see Rodney and the Blazers. David Teagarden called Rodney and the Blazers the bomb of that time. The group followed up in 1961 with Snow White, backed with Tell Me Baby, also released on Dory. At the suggestion of Joey D. of the Starlighters, the band moved to New York in 1962, where they played at the Peppermint Lounge. During the 60s, the Blazers toured with Jerry Lee Lewis, and then from 1964 through 66, Wanda Jackson. The big turning point for Lay was in 1962. It was that year he met and played with Roy Clark. Clark would later play a major part in the Lay career, as Rodney served as Roy's band leader for many years, touring the world and appearing on The Tonight Show 7 times. By 1965, Rodney headed back home, and in 66, Rodney became a DJ on station KGGF in Coffeyville, where he stayed until 1972. While working as a full-time DJ, he also put together another band, Rodney Lay and the Wild West, and continued writing songs. In 1967, Hank Thompson had a top 20 hit with Rodney's He's Got a Way with Women. In 1969, Waylon Jennings hit the top 20 with Something's Wrong in California, and that same year, the Hagers scored with Gotta Get to Oklahoma. During 1970, an interview with Buck Owens on Rodney's radio show led to Owens arranging a record deal for Rodney, initially with his Blue Book label and then with Capitol. He released 2 singles for the label, Georgia Boy, backed with I Don't Want to Make It, and Tennessee Woman, backed with I Don't Know Enough. Rodney made his screen debut in 1973 when he appeared in the Sam Peckinpah movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. For 18 months, between 1975 and 76, the band backed Freddie Fender, while Fender toured behind his monster hit, Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Then in October 1976, Rodney was reunited with Roy Clark as Clark's band leader. By 1979, Rodney signed to Sun Records, and his 1980 album, Rockabilly Nuggets, was critically acclaimed. He hit the country charts for the first time in 1981 with the top 90 single, 7 Days Come Sunday. By the end of that year, Rodney moved to Halsey's Churchill label as Rodney Lay and the Wild West. And in 1982, they had a top 75 single with Happy Country Birthday Darling. He followed it up with a much acclaimed single, I Wish I Had a Job to Shove, which gave him his first top 50 hit. In 1983, he racked up 2 more middle entry successes for the label. You Could Have Heard a Heartbreak, a #1 song for Johnny Lee the next year. He next hit the charts with the evergreen single Walk Softly on the Bridges in 1986. His version of Rock Around the Clock, which came from the Rockabilly Nuggets LP, was featured in the 1989 Tom Cruise movie Born on the 4th of July. Rodney married his wife Karen in 1963, and they had 2 sons, Rodney Lay Jr., who works for Cox Communications and is a noted songwriter himself, and John Lay, who is an automobile sales manager in Independence, Kansas. Through the years, Rodney's second love has been horses. He and Karen currently live on a ranch in Dewey, Oklahoma, where he raises racehorses and also continues leading a western swing group, the Tulsa Playboys. The Playboys focus primarily on the music of Bob Wills, which brought him full circle to the pre-rock era where he started. For his 60 years as a bassist, bandleader, vocalist, and songwriter, in 2017, Rodney Lay was inducted into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame.
It's all over but the crying, since you found somebody new. It's all over but the crying.